All right, so I mean, this is the talk of the town right now. I've been hearing rumors, whispers that there's been a reaction to there's been a reaction to my video. I haven't seen it yet. This will be a live reaction. I don't really get nervous, but I assume that a man who is who might be in my position who's not me, who maybe be feeling a little bit nervous. Before we start, I just want everyone to know that I have nothing but respect for my own takes. All right, let's get into it.
Hey guys, Ted here, aka Min Pops. Just wanted to get my first take on the new Dakayman tier list video.
First take implies there's going to be a second take, so I'm looking forward to the second take to come soon.
Is one of my good friends. As far as I understand, he has not.
Let me turn the sound up a little bit too. I'm seeing that like wasn't so if you missed the beginning, he said that his name is Ted. He said that his name is Min Pops, and this is his first reaction.
Released a tier list video yet, so this is going to be some good content. I'm just going to get right into it. I'll pause the video, give my opinions on a couple things, if needed, but we'll go from there.
I bad daddy pauses. Coming at you guys here with a completely new genre of videos, something I've been cooking up. It's a original thought as well, something I'm pretty known of, or for rather. This is going to be a series where I make a tier list about shit that my friend says. And let's just jump right into it. It's pretty obvious. You'll see as I'm doing it the point. So this is my friend Ted. He says that he's S tier himself because he's had an original thought.
Before he goes any further, I do just want to say I am an S tier person and friend. I mean, I'm logically consistent. I'm there.
I can't agree with everything he said so far, and I will not. Before he goes any further, I will definitely say that he is at least an S tier friend. There's no doubt about that. That one, if I was redoing the tier list with takes from this video, which is actually originally what I thought I was gonna do, but it's be a little bit harder to set that up. And I'm a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. Lot to manage over here. I'd put that as an S tier take for sure. I'm expecting the rest of it. Well, let's see.
For my friends. Something I really pride myself on. So I'm curious to see where he's going to go with this. Putting this in D tier is a little crazy to me.
But now, saying that you had an original thought is not an original thought, right? If you think you're the only person who has original thoughts, and that
Never said that.
puts you in a unique position, it's kind of an L take. Other people have original thoughts. You're not the only one with an original thought. That's going to be a D tier take from me.
So this is taken out of context. But
Yes.
I'll let it lie. It's the first one that he's ranking.
There's a
And
reason
yeah,
he's
it's not
letting
my
it
best
lie.
work. Not everything's a winner. But I'll let him cook.
Let me back it up. Let me just make sure I heard that right.
Lie. It's the first one that he's ranking.
That's going to be a D tier take from me.
So this is taken out of context. But I'll let it lie. It's the first one that he's ranking. And yeah, it's not my best work.
Okay, I heard that right. It's not his best work. I mean, flimsy ground to be standing on right here. You're kind of admitting it's not your best work. You're gonna let it lie. These types of comments are showing that like maybe the Cayman had a point here. If I could rephrase this one a little bit, I don't think I would. I don't think I would. If you're saying that the reason why you're S tier is because of the original thought, that's hey, I don't know how original of a thought that is.
You not everything's a winner, but I'll let him cook.
To you. So Ted saying that it's not rage bait, these videos suck. Oh no, I know where this one's going. I'm gonna have to put this one in D as well. The reason for this is that he was clearly rage baiting. I know that he likes the videos himself too, and he lies about it. He's a known liar. A lot of my videos. You see the smirk. You see the smirk.
So
Pause.
this one's gonna have to be a D tier for me. This is an L. It's not rage bait. I don't like the tier list videos for the PTR cycle, and kind of saying that your friend is a known liar is ridiculous. I would never perpetuate such a nasty comment about one of my friends.
We've all seen the sequence one, sequence two, and trust me, there's more coming in sequence three. This is not perpetuated by me; it's perpetuated by himself. I think it's even crazier to lie to your friends, especially when you know that you are friends with one of like the generation-defining content creators. I mean, I wish I didn't have to say it. You know what I mean? I wish that that narrative wasn't available for me.
So kind of this one's just an L all around for me.
This one is patch notes are relevant, LOL, they're in the game. I hate to do it, but like, I have to put this one in D tier as well. The reason for this is that we were talking about something like with a very specific context, which is about patch notes in PTR. And then he said patch notes are relevant as like a counter to me saying that patch notes are just about as relevant as the tier list videos themselves. In saying that like if you're
Ridiculous.
going to say that the tier list videos are not relevant, then therefore the patch notes themselves aren't relevant. Because all the tier list videos really are doing is talking about the patch notes. He misunderstood what I was talking about there, which
Bold take.
is going to have to be D tier for me because it was very obvious that we were talking about the context in which we were talking in.
First of all, beautiful sentence that he put together there at the end. Secondly, I think it's a little bit disingenuous to say that the patch notes.
Wait, what was? It was very obvious that we were talking about the context in which we were talking in.
First of
It
all,
was good.
beautiful sentence that he put together there at the
Thank
end.
you. Thank you.
Secondly, I think it's a little bit disingenuous to say that the patch notes are just as relevant as the tier lists about the PTR. The patch notes are stuff that it's getting added into the game. It's objective. The tier lists are subjective. You know,
Again, misunderstanding exactly what this is about. And maybe I was wrong in my previous take about him watching the videos because it kind of sounds like he doesn't. The tier lists are subjective to an extent. There is some truth to that. I will give him that credit. However, the part where there's a bit of a misconception here, misunderstanding, is that the tier lists are talking specifically about the patch note changes. They go one by one and talk about how is this class changed based on the most recent patch notes. Do we move them up? Do we move them down? And do other classes move around relative to the changes from those classes? Then you get to that class that's changing afterwards too. So for just to give an example of that, if Prop Pally gets buffed or Prop Pally gets nerfed, that might influence another tank unrelated to their patch, like the changes that are happening in that patch note to the other tank. So it happens both relative to other classes as well as the changes to that class. So while there is a subjective element, which is like, okay, well, where do you place them on the tier list? There's some truth to that, yeah, sure. That is subjective. However, the videos are specifically about the patch note changes, and a lot of times that's really what they're discussing is, okay, this class got buffed or nerfed. Also, one of the points that he made in the conversation we were having was that the problem with the tier list is that that's not actually being implemented into the game. What they're talking about is not necessarily going to hit the live game. That is the point I'm getting at here, which is that these patch notes are not necessarily going to hit the live game either. To give a great example of that that happened recently were the changes to hunters with their hunter's mark. Everybody was saying, wow, big change, big change, big change. Now the changes reverted completely. So all of the discussion around this, the way the buff is changing that hunters give, is not really relevant to talk about anymore. So that those patch notes that discuss that weren't really relevant, except they were relevant for people to give their feedback on the changes, which is exactly what these tier lists are doing, what the point of them are as well, which is to give feedback and have a discussion around changes or patch notes. Therefore, both the patch notes as well as the tier list are pretty equally relevant in that neither one is set in stone, but they're both setting up what could potentially be set in stone, having a discussion of if these things were to hit the game, how would that affect the game?
based on various experiences happening in the PTR keys and whatnot. And also, I did end up watching the video, and multiple times he says that he's putting certain things in certain spots based on assumptions about what's going to come before the patch actually goes live, which sort of plays into
Which is what patch notes do. In the sense of if you say, well, this is going to be a really big win for this class, or relative to another class, that's exactly what it is. It's a bit of an assumption.
my point that um, these things aren't super relevant. The tier lists themselves aren't super relevant until the patch is actually live. The patch notes, though, are getting added into the game. So I think
Not necessarily. They're being added into the PTR. They're not necessarily being added into the game.
to say that they're the same is kind of an L.
This is no, I'm going to play DK because it's always meta. I'm kind of tempted to put this one in D tier, but I'm actually going to put this one in S tier. The reason for this is that DK is always meta. Everybody knows this. It's been the case for a very, very long time. And Ted, despite some of these D tier takes, is a good player. And I think that if you were to play the best spec in the game, like that'd be pretty big for him and all of the friends around him as well.
So this is a W. I mean, obviously, if you were to put me on one of the best,
Listen, I respect the man. I respect the man deeply. If you see Ted on DK, I mean, he'd be making the tier list and people would be watching it and he would have a completely different opinion about how tier lists are
classes in the
received.
game, like it would be like seeing God. So for him to at least acknowledge that, even though we're going through a little bit of a tough period between our conflicting ideologies right now, it's nice of him to at least acknowledge uh,
Let me just do one other thing real quickly, which is leave a like here.
reality.
That's a better I idea than I respect watching my the friends tier and support them.
Uh,
lists for PTR. Right, so I'm gonna have to put this one in D. Let me go back to this one actually, because I'll have to provide some context to that one as well, and I think that maybe will be a nice way for ending it. This is
Weird, but okay.
this one's gonna have to be in D tier as well. The reason for this is he said he wanted to let me cook, then I started cooking. Oh, that's weird. Whatever. It's more so the last part. I just wanted to keep like the format the same with the name and the picture and everything like that. And the person get irritated by them. He's talking about the tier list videos here.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put this one in D tier because that shows weakness to be irritated by somebody, especially by another man.
Dakayman. I know you're not saying that.
I think if you're a man who's getting irritated by other men, that's just a D tier take. Just really nothing else needs to be said about that one. So that one's gonna be D tier for me as well. This one here, this is in response to another one of our friends, and he's saying that it's better content to watch a Dratnos video that's an hour long and talking about every single item that drops from a boss. Gonna have to put that one in D tier. I think that's even less relevant. And if you're talking about how patch notes can change in PTR, the reality is that so can items. So it's not really a strong case for your argument. So
It is certainly more relevant. Items are way less likely to be changed over the course of
less likely. If you're saying something is completely irrelevant, it's slightly more relevant. It's still pretty much irrelevant. Zero times anything is zero, you know. So if you're saying that like these PTR changes and the discussion around them are relevant, then like the same is true for some trinket. I mean, how many seasons now have we seen trinkets being buffed or nerfed, either before or at part way through a tier? I mean, it's becoming pretty common. It's becoming pretty common.
PTR cycle. Maybe one outlier here or there might get nerfed a little bit, but really the Dratnos videos are to just go through the items and show people what's going to be available to drop, and very rarely does that sort of thing change.
Unfortunately, I have to put this one in D tier. Not even true.
Um,
Probably doesn't come as a surprise to anybody, but I'm gonna put this last one in D tier as well. The reason for this is that like Ted's guild, gets a lot of gold from boosting people. This is in response to me saying that like I'm just gonna get boosted next season so that I can keep all of my classes geared, so that when balancing happens, I'll always just have a fallback if in the event that like one spec rises to the top. Hey, I'll just pop right in there and it's geared, ready to
it's a
go.
great idea.
Ted says that that's a better idea than actually watching the tier list video. This one has like a lot
100%.
of layers to it, a lot of depth to it as to why it's D tier. The first one is like that's obviously a crazy take. He's trying to get me to like spend
No
money and
more
time,
needs to be said. I'm in.
so I don't love that. But then the other reason why this is a D tier take is because he's trying to basically get me to fund his guild's boosting services, by like being one of the boostees. So he's like trying to influence me and say that like, oh, like yeah, it would be such a good idea if you did that. And by the way, like my guild will do it for you. We'll give you the friend
Never said that.
discount or whatever. Yeah, but we know that's what the point was. I mean, come on. They take down the boosting Discord. All of a sudden, oh, boosts aren't a thing anymore. Maybe they kind of are a thing again. Whatever. Like these services are struggling once again a little bit, and all of a sudden you have some guy who says, "Hey, I would love some boosting." He's, "Oh, isn't that a great idea?" By the way, like 2 for 1 deal this weekend. By the way. But that
Never said that.
just kind of takes me back to one of the other takes that he said, which is that it personally irritates. Some things don't need to be said, especially when you have the clairvoyance that some of us are gifted with. You don't have to say something verbatim or so literally in order for us to know, right? Suggestion is a powerful thing. Tim, because like I would never let another man influence me.
I would never let another man influence me. Interesting. To his last point, I've never once during that
Oh man,
conversation said that my guild should be the one boosting him. Um,
give me a second here. I'll get you the friends and family discount. Okay.
Never had any sort of financial gain there. It was really
I mean, you literally do. You literally do have financial gain. You know, like if I come in and say, hey, I got 5 million here right now. I got X amount of tokens. I don't know how many tokens. That'd be like what, like 15 WoW tokens. I got 15 WoW tokens here. That's financial gain that goes right into his pockets. That goes right into his death rolling. I mean, that's gonna fund his gambling habit. He's also mad because I beat him in a death roll last week.
just to make sure that he's the most prepared he can be. Overall, my take on the video, it's perfect. It's perfect. I mean, I don't agree with anything said in the video except for the fact that I'm a good player, but the
That was one of the strongest points. That was one of the strongest points. And I mean, I hope that through this all, like that is no more than anything else.
K-Man's his own guy, and our friendship is built on just being open and honest with each other. And I think
Real.
even in times like this where you're just spewing absolute nonsense, you got to
That might be the end of our friendship right there. I mean, I just have to be honest. No, absolute nonsense and spewing it. Okay, first of all, I had a whole script, pal. I wasn't spewing. I wasn't spewing. I just have a photographic memory, so I don't need to read it. First of all. Second of all, nonsense. None of this is nonsense. Some people are afraid of logic, you know, and some people don't get logic. Think about that.
support your guy. So, Decayman, great content. I can't wait for the next one.
He's gonna get the next one. He's gonna get the next one.